All right. Hope everybody had a good week. So today I want to talk about gloves. More importantly, tactical gloves. I want to give some advice, opinion, some knowledge, and clear up some misconceptions. Now, there's a lot of you out there just getting into survival prepping. And you want to get into the tactical end of things. Of course, I said this many times. I'll be going to reiterate it again. Before you start focusing on tactical gear, tactical clothing, tactical, training, firearms and stuff, get your basic preps ready first. Food, water, shelter, vehicle, first aid, all that stuff. Worry about the tactical end of things after that. Now, that I got that out of the way. We're talking a little about gloves. Now, if you're going to start buying tactical gear, a lot of people, you're going to go tactical boots, your tactical jacket, your Kevlar vest and your Molly rigs, your chest rigs, your drop leg system, all that stuff. And you're going to start talking about gloves at some point. So most people, when they think of tactical gloves, they're going to think of stuff with the hard knuckles. All right. Now let's talk about a couple things. I got a few pairs of hard knuckle gloves here. I actually had to just recently replace a couple pairs of the ones that I had that were just getting so old that I had forever. Now let me start off by saying this is probably the most common form of hard knuckle glove right here. These actually, I think, by the way, I'm not endorsed or anything by any of these brands. Nobody pays me to do this. I'm just talking about my opinions on things. Okay, get that out of the way. These, I think, these are the Tactical Gear Hellfox gloves, in case anybody's interested. Now, I actually picked these up on sale for Black Friday. I think they were like $12 or something. These actually aren't bad. They got pretty good grippiness. They got the hard knuckles. Misconception, everybody buys hard knuckle gloves thinking that they're buying them. A lot of people buy them thinking they're going to get some power to their punch, as they say, and all that stuff. The hard knuckle gloves, people, are really made more so to protect your knuckles than they are for knocking somebody out. They're not adding much force to knocking somebody out over your bare knuckles. I just want to get that out of the way now. If that's what you're buying them for, it's not really going to do much for you in that area of things. Hard knuckle gloves are great for protecting your knuckles. These are actually pretty good. These are fairly thin. These are not going to keep your hands warm, by the way. Most hard knuckle gloves that still allow you to have dexterity, maneuverability of your fingers for shooting and stuff, are not going to generally speaking, be that warm. But they're not designed necessarily to be warm. They're designed to protect your hands. And these particular ones, I tried them on. These are pretty good as far as dexterity goes for a hard knuckle glove. I was pretty impressed, especially for the price. Like I said, I think they're like $12 on sale from $20. I'm not sure. But with most hard knuckle gloves, anybody who's ever any experience with hard knuckle gloves in the field, any of you ex-military guys, or especially law enforcement and security bouncer types, definitely know about these. You don't have a lot of dexterity with these, generally speaking. These aren't so bad, but generally speaking, with the hard knuckle gloves, you don't have a lot of dexterity. But these aren't bad for shooting and so forth. These actually, we're pretty impressed with them. Okay, they do make an insulated version. Now I don't know who makes these. I got these a couple years ago, actually, this pair. Now these, again, hard knuckle gloves, these are insulated. When I wear these, I can't bend my hands down past here. That's about as much as I can go. Keep in mind, the more insulated the glove is, generally speaking, not all the time, but generally speaking, the less dexterity, maneuverability you're going to have with your fingers, and that may affect you working with a weapon. So keep that in mind when you're choosing a glove. Just like anything else, like I talk about, when you're choosing, whether it be a weapon, whether it be gloves, boots, clothing, a vehicle, you always get what works for you in the situation, in the manner in which you intend to use it. If you're going to be doing a lot of shooting in the warm weather, you're not going to be wearing insulated gloves. To tell you the truth, generally speaking, most people aren't going to need hard knuckle gloves. Most people won't. But if something you're looking at, just watch this video and take these into consideration, all right? Hard knuckle gloves, especially insulated hard knuckle gloves, maneuverability and dexterity with them is very difficult. Plus, the fingers get thicker. They're very hard to work with a firearm. All right? Now, these are, I don't remember who made these. They got these fancy little Velcro things on here, which is kind of cool. #war. They're just really just fluff. But these gloves were a little more expensive. I think these cost me about, I want to say they cost me about, I think, $40, something like that. Now these have a hard protective knuckle, but they flex really well. You could actually see how well they flex. Yeah, there's the brand right there. You can see that. Again, I'm not endorsed by anybody, but these, I like how it's got the section right there. It's got real nice grip. They're touchscreen compatible, which is a big thing these days. But if you're in a combat situation, you're probably not going to be playing with your phone too much. But, you know. But these I really like a lot. These have kind of a... It's a hard knuckle, but it's more of a rubbery. So it's hard, but it's got like it's rubberized, so it moves a lot better. Now these, I would use these, attack the situation in a heartbeat, for hand-to-hand combat, to shooting. They're not super warm, but they're actually not that bad. They're not like these. These here, and most of these types of gloves are not warm at all. Most tactical gloves for that you're going to use when handling a weapon are not going to be that warm. Also, keep in mind something. There's a lot of fingerless gloves out there, and a lot of guys like the fingerless gloves. Fingerless gloves in the warm weather, they're great. They're great for handling weapons. You got ultimate dexterity with fingerless gloves because your fingers are exposed, right, to grab your trigger, your bolt, all that stuff. You know. Fingerless gloves are great, except in the wintertime, your fingers are exposed. Frostbite, no good, bad situation for everybody. So I'm not a big fan of fingerless gloves for most of the time, but they do have their uses. Okay, so these are just some things to think about when you're choosing a glove. Now, just like anything else, you can buy cheap to mid-grade to all the way up to $100, $200 for a pair of gloves. I mean, they get high. But you don't usually need to spend $200 for gloves. You don't. Now, something that's a good general all-purpose glove, like these here. These are mechanics wear gloves. Now, I wear these when I usually speak in these hunting gloves. Or I use these in the late fall. I have actual dexterity with them. They're not super warm, but they keep the elements off my hands. I spray them with a little Scotch Guard. It keeps them waterproof. They breathe a little bit. They keep the water off my hands. They keep the breeze off my hands. Would I recommend these in deep of winter? No, absolutely not. But they give you maximum dexterity, which I really like a lot. Now, they do make all these gloves, and without the knuckles, they make also ones with Kevlar reinforced, Kevlar and Nomax, which is fire retardant. Keep in mind, the more stuff like that you get, generally speaking, again, the less maneuverability you're going to have. So remember, choose a glove that's going to work with what you got. Also, keep in mind, just like a lot of shoes and a lot of other clothing, a lot of times glove manufacturers, their sizes tend to vary. Mediums might fit you one day, and then the next manufacturer, mediums won't fit and you need a large. So keep that in mind when you're trying them on. And I also want to clear up a misconception about Kevlar gloves. Now, these are Kevlar cut-resistant gloves. Okay, again, a lot of cops know what these are. A lot of guys that work in I have these from when I'm working with my knife works. I don't cut my hands open at times. You can wear them as liners if you want underneath your gloves, but you're really not going to be able to move your hands. Misconception: cut resistant is cut resistant. Flame resistant is flame resistant. Cut resistant does not mean stab resistant. You have this on your hand. You lay your hand on the table, and I take my K-bar and I smash it right through this. It's going to go right through this, right through your hand, right to the other side into the piece of wood. Guarantee. In fact, if I can find my old crappy pair that I have around, I'll prove that to you guys, because some people don't believe me. They're not going to stop. Somebody puts a shotgun to your hand. It's not Kevlar. The Kevlar gloves are not going to stop a shotgun blast from blowing your hand off. It's not how these work. Cut resistant is cut resistant. These are not bulletproof. Some yo-yo, I seen a video on there talking about. I'm not flipping these over for a reason, because I'm not going to sit there and I don't. I'm not flipping them over for a reason. That's all I'm going to say. But these particular Kevlar gloves, the same exact brand. I heard somebody giving advice that you should wear these in the case of a gunfight because they can stop bullets with your hands. I swear to God, I swear on my life, this is some dumb shit that I heard somebody say, or that they'll stop someone from stabbing through your head. They will not, under any circumstance, stop somebody from jamming a knife through your hand or shooting you through the hand. These are not going to do it. It's not the same as wearing a Kevlar vest. Just making that clear. Okay. Now that stupid shit that people say, bad advice, is out of the way, that angers me. It's out of the way. So, with my final words of wisdom here, like anything else, pick gloves that work for you. If you're planning on just hiking in the winter, or you're bugging out and you're not a big firearm guy, you pick a pair of winter gloves to keep your hands warm. Bottom line, you can keep your hands warm. If you want gloves for striking, Hard knuckle gloves, I'm not saying that some people are going to argue this point that they're great for that. Okay, whatever you say, I tend to disagree, that they're more for protecting your hands than anything else. That's what hard knuckle gloves are for. They might protect your knuckles from when you're striking somebody, but they're not really going to add as much of a punch. If you want to add a punch to your knuckles, no. Make sure you check your state laws before you buy these. There's a thing called SAP gloves, which are basically gloves that back in the day the knuckles had lead shots on it. Now I think they use steel shot, almost like BBs. Now those will help knock somebody out. Is it really adding a hell of a lot of power? Probably not, but some people argue the point about that. Okay. Buy a glove that works for what you need to. Keep in mind, the warmer the glove, the more insulated the glove, the less dexterity. So there's always trade-offs. Weapon maneuverability, if that's a primary concern of yours, you're probably going to end up with a little bit of a more thinner glove. I'm not saying you can't get warm ones that have dexterity. You can, but they are, generally speaking, they're a little higher in price. But you get what you pay for, generally speaking, with gloves. All right, so that's where we're at. All right, that's a quick little video on gloves today. Hopefully this helps some people. Hopefully this gives you some advice, a little insight. Again, get what works for you. Keep in mind the sizing is very important, and watch out for overpriced fluff. These I liked a lot. These little things, again, they're fluff. Is it really necessary to have words on here? Is that going to help you in a tactical situation? No, it just looks cool, makes you look like a tough guy, whatever. I think that actually looks kind of cool. I could put my name on it, right? Matt right across it. Matt, Matt kills or something, or who knows. But they're still cool gloves. I like these gloves a lot. In fact, they're one of my favorite pairs that I just bought recently. I think they're like $35-40. If you're interested in something like this, I think they got these on tacticalgear.com also. I'm not endorsing anybody. It's just I buy stuff from that website. I happen to like that website. And that's it. All right, there you go. Don't be fooled by the fluff. Read the reviews. Always read reviews and by people. And, it's always a good thing to do online. See, how people like them, what they don't like about them. All right. So hopefully this helps. Before I get any more off topic, have a great day. Bless you all, and see you on the next one. Stay safe. It's a jungle out there.